And we're back, Fire College Fishing Report, Captain Josh here. And today we're going to talk about targeting those big old king mackerel. We're talking live trolling for king mackerel, and I brought in the expert for me today, Captain Eric Gullickson. Captain Eric.
Hey, Captain Josh.
Appreciate having you on the show.
Pleasure seeing
now,
you.
Captain Eric's been running charters out of the port for a couple years now, and he really is known for slaying those kingfish. Captain Eric, why don't you just tell us some of your techniques for targeting these big old king mackerel?
Alrighty, well, first off, we're gonna go over the rig first, and then we'll go over how we're gonna troll those baits, and some different variations of things you can do to trigger a bite if it's not working for you right there in the beginning. So, first off, we're gonna go live bait trolling. All right. So when you're targeting king mackerels, okay, you're gonna be fishing 60 to 90 foot reefs. You know, lots of those are artificial structures, and then other ones are limestone ledges and stuff. Okay. So when I'm live bait fishing, I want to start off with a single strand wire, like so, and I'm going to go ahead and do a swivelless leader on that. Now, I'll go into more depth later as to when we want to use a swivel on that, but for live bait fishing, we're going to do swivelless. And when I say a stinger rig, we're talking about number 3, number 4. I like the VMC treble hooks because they don't rust, and you're going to have the treble hooks about 3 to 4 inches apart, depending on the size of the bait you're using. And when we're trolling for kingfish out here on the east coast of Florida, the main bait we like to use they're called pogies. All right, you're going to catch them in the cast net along the beach in the mornings. They're usually between 5 and 7 inches, and they swim really nicely in the water. So when we're rigging them up, we're going to go ahead and take the first treble hook, go right through the nose, and then we're going to dangle that second treble hook behind there. All right, and the reason we want to dangle that second treble hook is because kingfish, they are an extremely highly ambushed predator. I mean, they're one of the fastest fish in the ocean. They come flying in there 100 miles an hour. Lots of times they'll even miss the bait, and you have that dangling treble back there. It'll just snag them in the face or underneath, and even if they don't eat the bait, you get a very high hook set rating and ability when you have that dangling treble hook.
Good call going with the treble.
Right.
And then we don't want to hook these baits through the tail. I've seen some people hook them through the tail with a live fish. Just going to kill your fish. Dragging it the wrong way. Got to go through the nostril. Get a nice swim right there with the fish. Looks real natural. And don't troll them too fast now. Don't want to troll them too fast. Captain Eric will get into that right here.
You know,
don't want to troll them too fast.
You know, yeah, live bait fishing, it's not like you're dolphin fishing. You know, you're trolling these live pogies, sardines, stuff of the sort. You want to be as slow as you can. You want that bait to look as natural as possible, and you're pulling it through the water. You know, these outboard engines, they usually don't have trolling valves on them, so you're going to be bumping your boat in and out of gear. You know, you don't want to pull it too fast, drown your bait. You want it to look natural. Lots of the diesel engines, they're going to have trolling valves on them, so this is a great chance to utilize that trolling valve, slow your troll down a little bit, and get a very nice presentation on your bait when you're trolling that live bait. So, all right, so that's live bait fishing. All right, now we're going to go and when you can't get those live baits, all right, when you can't find any bait on the beach, you always want to have a good backup plan. All right, we want to make sure we have a box of whether it's sardines or cigar minnows or northern mackerels. You want to have some minnows to spin if you can't get them live baits. All right, now Captain Josh, this rig right here, whenever you're spinning minnows, you don't want to do a swivelless knot like we had on that live bait rig, because when you have your minnows, they're going to spin a lot, all right? And you want to swivel so you don't twist up your line real bad, all right? And when you have those minnows, we usually like to take a king buster like this, that green, you slide it, either green or pink, chartreuse, slide it down the line, gives it a little more action, gets you a couple more bites and stuff. And lots of times, you know, if it's windy out, you know, your live bait's definitely going to stay in the water, but say it's blowing 15, 20, you know, your minnows are going to want to skip across the surface, all right? So a little trick I have is lots of times I'll slide a ½ ounce or an ounce egg sinker down on top of the stinger rig and then slide my king buster over top of it just to keep that minnow subsurface so it's not all the way up there on the surface, all right?
Now, Captain Eric, talk to me about, I know people like to troll their baits off the top, but what about getting downrigger involved, you know, mixing up the depths with your bait? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Captain Josh, that's a real good question. And You know, you're trolling for kingfish, like I said, on those limestone reefs and stuff of the sort. You're trolling around and you're looking for your marks on the depth finder. You're looking at your depth finder the whole time. A kingfish mark is going to look like a little snake there on the depth finder, a bunch of little lines. It's not like a normal red snapper mark or a bait mark. They're a bunch of lines, okay? So once you start marking them, you know, you're going to go ahead and want to start doing circles around that area and try to stay on that school of fish. And we're normally fishing reefs in the 70 to 90 foot range. So when you got your downrigger down, it's usually 35 to 45 foot down in the water column, all right? So lots of times those fish are down low and your surface baits aren't going to be getting any bites. So you pull that downrigger through there, you get nailed on a fish, you start fighting it, and the school follows that fish up, and then they'll end up hitting your surface baits too. So a lot of times your downrigger triggers the bite, and then you'll end up getting doubles and triples with those surface baits getting eaten after you get that downrigger smoked. All right. And once again, you know, if you aren't getting any bites on the downrigger or on the surface, you know, you got to think your downrigger's 45 foot down there. Don't be afraid. I like to do this lots of times when I'm not getting any bites. Go ahead, snap your line out of that downrigger clip and let your bait float up through the water column. It's 45 foot down. Let it float up to the surface. That's 40 foot in the water column it's covering. Lots of that little change in swimming motion of your bait and everything. It'll trigger a bite and you'll hook up right after that.
Now, Captain Eric, I know our viewers are dying to know. Everybody always wants to know with every show we're doing, what's the cooler looking like when we're trolling for these kingfish now?
Well, Captain Josh, you know how we love the bush lattes, you know.
We do love our bush lattes.
But, you know, whenever we're offshore fishing, I usually try to stick the bush lattes when we're bottom fishing, you know. When you're bottom fishing, it's really strenuous, you know. You're lockdown drag, 150, 200-pound Power Pro. You know, you're getting all worn out. You're losing a lot of fluids. So you want to drink them bush lattes. You can pound them, stay hydrated, and still be able to function at a high level, all right?
Yep.
So when we're trolling, not that it's easier, but it's just different. It's not as strenuous. So kind of like to switch it up, get a little bit of a heavier beer in there, something to get us a little better buzz. So we like to go with the PBRs when we're trolling out there.
Yep.
You know,
18,
a little darker beer.
24 PBR is a
18,
great
24.
choice. You know, red, white, and blue can. Nothing more American than that.
Go with the Pabst.
Now, one more thing before we go here, Captain Eric.
All right.
Let me hear your craziest story while you're out there trolling, whether it's with a charter or whatever. Just your craziest story out there targeting the kings.
Well, Captain Josh, you know, I got a couple good stories, but you know, there's just one that just stands out from all the other ones. And you know, it was last year. I was on charter. You know, we're out there trolling around little sardine schools, trying to catch some kingfish. And you know, we hooked up, getting the boat close, fish close to the boat. Fish swam under the boat, got tangled in the propeller. You know, and ended up just popping the line off there to get it unsnagged. And then shortly thereafter, you know, we had a cobia pop up, pitched him a live bait, just slurped it down, smashed it. Another one followed him up, pitched him a jig, smashed that one too, right? Doubled up on cobes. We're fighting them. About 10 minutes, got them both in the boat. Headshots on the gas. They're sweet gas shots. But anyways, got them in the boat. And we were getting the line set back up, and I was like, hey, there's still a line coming off that propeller. I should probably like get that cleaned up, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to drive around a line in your propeller. So put the boat in neutral, got in the water, grabbed that line, started pulling it. I was like, shoot, there's a little heavy on there, right? So I took that line, handed it to one of my deckhands on the boat, and he just hand lined it in. We still had that kingfish on the line. So we were slow trolling kingfish behind the boat when we were catching our couple cobias. Got that fish up, gaffed him, killed him too. So, man, you know, it's just sometimes, you know, everything's working your way, and, you know, it was just a great time.
That's a time of life right there. Awesome, two big cobia and a kingfish on a hand line.
Never forget that,
Jesus.
man. Awesome day.
Well, Captain Eric, always appreciate having you come on the show. Got to have an expert's opinion on the kingfish. It's great to have someone with your stature out here talking to these folks about how to catch these kings.
Yep.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show, Captain Eric.
Yep.
And we will catch you guys tomorrow. Recreational angler Brenton Scharf's going to be on here talking to you guys about a little spear fishing.
Guys, and remember, if you ever have any questions, anything you would like to hear about on our show, don't be afraid. Shoot us a comment, shoot us a message. Let us know what you'd like to hear about next on FCFR Fishing Reports.
See you guys tomorrow.